guys, it's Jake here, and in this video I'll be talking about some marijuana stocks, and specifically I'll be taking a look at a pie that I made on M1 Finance. So if you guys are interested in M1 Finance, actually it's a really cool free to use app that I use and I like a lot, and it's not only an app but it's an actual brokerage account that has a lot of cool features, like allows you to buy fractional shares and allows you to reinvest dividends, that allows you to make these cool pies that I use for YouTube, things like that. So if you're interested in it, there's a link in the description, and when you sign up and fund your account you get $10. But anyways, getting into it, so I'm going to be showing you guys, like I said, a marijuana pie. Hopefully I don't get demonetized for this video. In the past I've posted marijuana videos or cannabis stock videos on my channel, and they had got demonetized at one time or the other, so maybe I feel like I say like enough nicknames of Mary Jane that I won't actually get demonetized. But anyways, getting into it, I'm going to pull up my M1 Finance pie, and it should be up right about now. And as you can see, I named this one the Devil's Lettuce, so maybe the YouTube monetization algorithm won't realize that what I'm talking about in this video. But anyways, if I go over to this portfolio right here, which should be up on the left over here somewhere, as you can see, I have 9 holdings, expenses 0% because there's not any ETFs in this one, and a dividend yield is 1.3 because I think there's only one dividend yielding stock in this entire portfolio. So when I broke down this portfolio, there's a ton of different marijuana and cannabis stocks that you can invest in. Basically how I broke it down is into, let's see, 3 and kind of like 3.5 basic categories. So one category is cultivation companies. So with cannabis based companies, there's a whole lot of steps in the process on how to actually grow it, plant it, cultivate it, get it to the market, sell it, things like that, what to actually do with it once you actually have it grown. And the cultivation companies are basically the companies, and all 4 of these are actually located in Canada because the legality of marijuana is a lot more clear, and I think a lot more just overall legal in Canada than it is the United States. So these 4 companies are all in Canada, and then I broke it down to pharmaceutical companies / biotech companies, and then I also broke it down into a last category that's basically like an other category because it doesn't really fit into any of these other 2. So it's kind of like 3.5 because I sort of combine pharmaceutical / biotech companies. So if I go over to targets here, the first cultivation stock that I'll be talking about, and I kind of weighted these in a way that I would want them, just basically I put AbbVie at the top because I think it's the safest, and I put some other ones that I think are a little bit better, and then the other ones at the bottom as well. But the first company, Canopy Growth, like I said, this is a cultivation company. This is one that is unprofitable, is Canadian based, and you'll kind of see this with a lot of the stocks in this. A lot of the stocks are unprofitable but still have performed pretty well over the past few years or so. Like 1 year return 47%, that's actually really solid. 3 year 178%, and 5 years 73%. Those are actually pretty decent. And then if we go to the profile over here, it's on the New York Stock Exchange. It's a $344 million company. Actually, that's saying shares outstanding. But if we go, oh no, the market cap, it's a $14 billion company. I was going to say, I did not think that was right there. And it's does not have a PE ratio or dividend yield. So a company like this, definitely a lot of risk associated with them. I think they might be a little bit of a safer and a little bit of a better bet. I think if we're looking at all of these stocks, the 4, or I should say the 3 best for marijuana stocks, cannabis stocks, in my opinion, Canopy's up there, Aurora Cannabis is up there as well, and GW Pharmaceuticals is up there also. And there's some other ones I think are decent as well. But you could definitely weight this differently based on your portfolio. But anyways, the next company is going to be another cultivation one, and this one's going to be Aurora Cannabis. And I like Aurora Cannabis a lot better than some of the other ones because I think it's one of the closest to profitability. So most of these companies aren't profitable, and I don't think that's necessarily a terrible thing. I personally don't really like to invest in unprofitable companies, but I think the cannabis industry is definitely a case where you're going to find a lot of unprofitable companies that may be profitable in the future and also maybe are doing some pretty good things. So with Aurora Cannabis, once again, it's a cultivation company. 1 year return 27%, 3 year return 178%. That is really, really good. They're still almost towards that like penny stock type area here at $8. I mean, that's relatively close to being a penny stock, which you're going to see with a lot of these stocks over here. I think they're just kind of getting out more of that phase of being like a crappy, low-valued penny stock into being, a decently sized company, $8 billion market cap. And overall, Aurora Cannabis, once again, they're Canadian-based, which I think is a lot better than being United States-based if you're doing anything in terms of like cannabis or like actual like recreational, besides the medical portion of marijuana. But Aurora Cannabis, I think, in my opinion, would probably be in the top 3 of all these stocks. The next stock, again, is another cultivation stock, and that's going to be Kronos Group. So if I scroll down to them down here, this one's a little bit smaller, $5 billion market cap, another Canadian stock as well, another cultivation stock as well, and this one in the past year, 138%, so doing pretty well also. And this one, again, very similar to some of the other ones as well. They're kind of focusing on recreational and medical. This one's a little bit more medical than some of the other ones in this video. Kronos Group, again, it's almost the same exact thing for Canopy and Aurora Cannabis. Another marijuana stock, one that's based in Canada, one that's not yet profitable, but one that may become so sooner than some of these other ones in the video. But I think if anything, I'd probably stick with Aurora and Canopy for becoming profitable sooner, just simply because they're making more money than these other companies are. So if I go down to the next stock I'm going to be talking about is, where is it? Oh, Tilray right here. So Tilray, again, no surprise here, another Canadian company as well. A lot of these companies, these four top ones, do kind of the same thing. Tilray is the smallest one out of these four. Again, no PE ratio, no dividend yield, pretty much the same thing going on here as well. They, as it says in the short description here, like some of these other ones, they get a majority of their revenue from Canada. A lot of these companies haven't branched out internationally, mostly due to legal reasons, as well as just simply like they're just small companies. They aren't able to reach out internationally yet. And this one is a lot less of a penny stock, I guess you could say, compared to some of these other ones. At $40, it's like really nowhere near penny stock territory. So I think that's kind of interesting to note as well. Moving on to pharmaceutical / biotech companies. So the first one that I have weighted at the highest percent in my portfolio is AbbVie. And AbbVie is, as you can see here, like they're actually a profitable company. They actually are a very large company, and they have a really big dividend yield. So a company like this, I think, is nice to add to this portfolio because it's not solely based on the cannabis marijuana industry by any means at all, but it is definitely based on a certain part of it. So AbbVie actually has an FDA-approved Marinol, which is a drug that is cannabis infused, and apparently it actually has been doing pretty well and actually has been helping a lot of people, which is kind of cool to see as well, because this portfolio could definitely be seen as more of a sin investing portfolio, because you may or may not be all pro pot or whatever your own ethical, moral reasons are, and a lot of these stocks in this portfolio are just pretty much solely based in the marijuana industry, which a lot of people may or may not like. So this one is one that's not solely based in the marijuana industry at all by any means, and is a stock that I actually own in my own portfolio because I think it's a really solid one, not just for its marijuana side, but for all of its other sides as well. So I think this stock could really help your portfolio out if you are looking to invest in only marijuana companies. Maybe perhaps you're looking to create a pie on M1 Finance and only marijuana companies. After that is going to be GW Pharmaceuticals. So if we go down to them right here, and actually I haven't been saying the ticker symbols of these guys, which I should have as well, but obviously, as the name says, it's a pharmaceutical company, so this is a little bit different than the other companies that are listed above. And I think in some ways all these stocks are going to be risky because they might be based on an industry that's not fully legal in some areas yet, or they might not have a supermarket, and it's just kind of like more speculative in nature. But I do think that some biopharmaceutical companies, depending on whether or not they're actually approved or not, can be a bit more riskier than others. So AbbVie, when you're looking at them, their drug Marinol is already FDA approved, so that really doesn't have a lot of risk because it doesn't have to go through clinicals or get approved or anything like that. And I'm actually not totally familiar with the Canadian pharmaceutical approval system, how that works, but if I would guess, it would probably be something similar to the US. I'm, again, not entirely sure, but a little bit differently. These companies could potentially make a whole lot of money and become profitable very, very quickly if they were able to put a drug on the market that is marijuana based. But anyways, moving on to the next company. The next one's going to be Cara Therapeutics, ticker symbol CARA, and this one down here, again, another one that's relatively small. This is only an $857 million market cap, so much smaller than some of these other companies, especially a company like AbbVie. This one, again, is Canadian based, and I think I said that about the last one, that it was Canadian based as well. But either way, this one's doing a little bit of different stuff. Most of the time with these cannabis infused drugs, they're like targeting pain or appetite loss or cancer, AIDS patients, things like that. So a lot of these drugs are actually doing the same kind of stuff. This one, again, is using the biopharmaceutical. It's just totally a pharmaceutical company. Nothing else that it's really doing in terms of that kind of stuff. After that is going to be Corbus Pharmaceutical Holdings, ticker symbol CRBP. And if we go down to them, again, another biopharm company. This one is much smaller, a little bit below a $500 million market cap, no PE ratio, no dividend yield. And as you can see, And the quick title of this one, this is a phase 3 clinical stage pharmaceutical company, and this one obviously again is trying to focus on treatments with cannabis infused drugs for various different things. So the difference between a company like this and some of the other biopharmaceutical companies is that it literally says in the name a phase 3 clinical stage pharmaceutical company. So the difference between this one and other companies is that this one is really heavily relying on drugs getting onto a further stage to get FDA approved. So this company is working on drugs that aren't yet approved, they're not yet on the market. So I think this one inherently has a lot more risk associated with it. But then again, if some of these drugs do go through and do get approved and do get past clinical stage trials, this could be a very profitable company. And moving on to the last section of this portfolio, which is kind of the other section, is actually this, well, there it is, ticker symbol STZ, Constellus Brands. So with this company, this is a company that is definitely not solely based on marijuana at all or anything like that. It's probably a brand you know. They sell a bunch of different beers that you're probably aware of, like, let's see, some there's down here, like Black Boss, they sell Svedka, Corona, Modella, a bunch of different beers like that, a lot of different imported beers to the US. But this company is doing something that definitely is heavily related to the marijuana industry. They have a very large stake in Canopy growth, and they're trying to create cannabis infused beverages. And this is a company that again is making money. They have a nice dividend yield. They're definitely profitable, and they're a relatively bigger company compared to some of these other ones at a $36 billion market cap. But again, I think this one's a little less risky because they actually are a profitable company that's been doing decently well over the few years or so. And it is a company that has some weight in the marijuana industry, and actually a relatively large stake when you're looking at it, because they did invest quite a bit amount of money into Canopy growth. So that'll be very interesting to see how that works. And they actually are supposedly having cannabis infused drinks coming out at some point in 2019. And they don't have any out right now that I'm aware of anyways to like the entire market or anything. But other than that, guys, that's really it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, definitely leave a like and comment below what you think about these stocks, what you think about marijuana stocks, the industry, devil's lettuce, Mary Jane, whatever you want to call it. And also, if you enjoyed the video, definitely consider leaving a like. And also, during this entire video, I was using the M1 Finance app, which is a really cool and awesome brokerage that is free to use, has no minimum deposit, and you also could sign up with the link in the description and get $10 when you fund your account. And I really like it a lot because it has this pie feature. It has fractional shares, allows you to reinvest dividends. Really overall a solid app. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.